I have the most hardcore off-road trucks you can get from Chevy and Ford. Meet the ZR2 and the Raptor. I borrowed these trucks from Jerry Seiner, Chevrolet here in Salt Lake City, and also Larry H. Miller Super Ford, which is also here in Salt Lake City. Both of these trucks are available. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the pricing on these trucks so you guys can see how close or far away they are in pricing, and then we'll kind of go through some of the nice features that you get with these trim levels. Here's the window sticker for the ZR2. This one in the video is going to be Glacier Blue Metallic, and then just be sure to pause it for the standard equipment here. And base price is going to be $69,900. Now, one thing that's unique about Chevy is they always have the lower price, but typically a lot of things do come as an option. So heads-up displays right there, adaptive cruise control. This one does have the off-road assist steps right there. You do have to pay a premium for that blue color. And this one does have the blackout, which is the dark essential for like the nameplates, and then tailgate lettering right there. Destination comes in at $1995 with a total price of $75,890. Now, if you're looking at the Ford, here is all the specs at the very top here and a short listing of the standard equipment. One thing I like about the Raptor is everything pretty much comes standard. So this one does have the tough bed spray in. You can get a panoramic sunroof as well. Destination on this truck is $1995 with a total price of $80,740. I'm not sure if you guys saw the Philly comment numbers, but here's for the Ford, and this is what it is for the ZR2. To no one's surprise, the Chevy's going to win on price every time. But with that being said, one thing that's nice about getting the ZR2 and the Raptor is if you don't want to add any options because that's your max, they come well equipped, and you guys will see that here in this video. Now let's start off on the front ends. Both trucks are going to have full LED headlights, turn signals, fog lights, whole 9 yards. They also both have clearance lights on the front end. So on the Chevy, you can see them right here on both sides. And I like the overall design for the front grille. Forward facing camera with the sprayers right there, red recovery hooks, and vertical styling on those fog lights. Now because this is the diesel, you do have your engine block heater plug there, and huge skid plates down below, especially on the front end of the truck. And it is finished in aluminum. But you have that cutout on the bumper, which gives you better approach angle. And I do like this trim piece. It's like a gray color. You have that flow through tie right here. And then with the Ford, they did do a refresh for 2024. Now, I have to admit to you guys, the wide body stance on the Ford is very, very aggressive. You do get a wider stance with the ZR2, but you guys can tell like where the headlights are. This truck has a really wide stance, and the reason why that is because this is technically a Baja truck, so you're going to get more of that wide body stance compared to the ZR2, which is more of like an off-road truck. And this one has the rigid lights down below. Front parking sensors are on the Ford, however you guys noticed they were not on the Chevy. They may be available, however, just keep that in mind. Both have the recovery loops. This are finished in black down below. Forward facing camera on both sides too, and those clearance lights are right in the center of the grille right here. And then check out the hood too. I didn't show you guys the one on the ZR2, but really aggressive hood on the Ford. It says Raptor on the side, and here is the Chevys, very aggressive. And I like that little trim piece on the front there. It just looks really nice, and it just shows how hardcore the truck actually is. Down below here, you guys will see big skid plate, just like on the Chevy. More clearance lights on the side of this fender. Let's go ahead and turn in the wheel so you guys can see the suspension. So here is the Ford Raptor's suspension. You guys can see at the very top, steel control arm, and then you have an aluminum one down below. Also, your steer knuckle is going to be aluminum too. Now notice how right here, you guys see how you have like this little nipple right here? That helps to take off stress on that steering rack right there. And when you look at the lower control arm, you guys can notice how it does have some reinforcement. Let me try to zoom in so you can see it. It's right there. You see that bar that goes side to side? that does show a little bit of reinforcement on that suspension. Now this is going to be a single valve Fox shop too, and this is basically a double wishbone. You guys can see the sensor right here, so you do have an active suspension on this truck. And on this side here is the ZR2. Now you're gonna have a steel lower control arm, but on the very top you guys will see that looks to be like a forged aluminum maybe. And then here is the steer knuckle finish in aluminum, and this too does have a reinforcement on that lower control arm. And do you guys see how the mounting points for the suspension is kind of staggered a little bit, how it kind of goes down? That helps with like dive in the suspension when you hit the brakes, things like that. And Multimatic DSSV, so basically dynamic suspension spool valve. I did a drive video. I'm not sure if I'm going to post it before or after this video, but for sure both trucks have a really hardcore suspension and design. So fabric material for the Ford, and you guys saw it on the GM here. And here's just the fender flares. You definitely have a more aggressive one with the Ford setup. Now as far as the tires go, this is where Ford has really done a good job. So this truck is going to have a 35-inch tire. They're pretty wide too, so 315, 70, 17, so 17-inch wheel. Great design. These are the standard wheels on the ZR2. They're going to be an 18-inch wheel wrapped in an LT 275 70 18. Goodyear Wrangler Territory MT versus the BFGoodrich Terrain TA KO2s. And like I said, 35 versus 33-inch tires. So yes, they're a little bit taller than the GMs. And most people do like the bigger tires. That's what a lot of people are going for these days, right? Now, not a lot of badging on the side here. It just, on the Chevy ZR2, here's the mirrors, both painted. They both have the cameras here, so 360 camera view. They give you black door handles, and they do color match on the Fords. Both trucks have the smart key system. High clearance steps on the Ford, and then these are just some running boards. You can get rock rails, high clearance steps with Chevy as well. But out back, 36-gallon fuel tank. Sorry about that, my camera got a little hot, so yeah. 36-gallon fuel tank versus Chevy's, which is a 24-gallon. And out back, here's the suspension. So Chevy wins here because I love leafs, obviously. So you get 5 leafs in the main pack, so they do add additional leafs. The bottom one here is going to be a helper spring, and then you have 4 leafs in that main pack. Now both trucks are going to have inverted shocks. So you guys see here on the Ford, you see how technically it's like upside down. That's the best way I can say it. E-coated frame and versus the wax coated frame. Out here, this truck is going to be using coil springs. Okay, 410 rear, 5-link suspension too. You guys can see those links right there. So there's 2 on each side right there. And then on the Chevy, this is going to have a 323. Both trucks are going to have full-size spare tires. And I think I like the hitch better on the Ford because you can actually probably use this right here to lift the truck if you do get a flat tire, okay? And then just quick styling on the tailgate. Chevy's going to have a power tailgate. You guys probably saw the parking sensors down below. Both trucks have that. Spray and bed liner, they do stamp ZR2 on the front. Bed lights, 400 watts of power. Ford 2 is going to have a powered tailgate, 2,000 watts inside the bed. LED lights for there as well, and a little bit of storage on the side there. Bed view camera on both sides, and then they have a step right here, and then Chevy gives you the steps built into the rear bumper. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the powertrains, because this is where I think it gets really complicated if you are truly cross-shopping these trucks. By the way, the exhaust on the Ford is so nice. I like the way they do the dual on the rear. Where do we start? These trucks are so different in terms of the powertrain. It's scary. If I were to say which truck had the better powertrains, I'd be biased because I'm a diesel fanboy. So yes, the Chevy does have a diesel. It actually comes standard in the ZR2 for 2024. Has a 3-liter. It's going to have 305 horsepower, 495 pound-feet of torque. Now the Ford Raptor has a pretty exciting twin turbocharged engine. That engine has 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. You probably think I'm talking about a diesel right now, but nope, it's just a forced induction V6. Now, if you want to get an upgraded engine option on the Chevy, you can. It's the 6.2 liter naturally aspirated V8. It's going to have 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, and both trucks are going to have a 10-speed transmission. So yes, there's only one engine for the Ford Raptor. Okay, that's not true. I know someone's going to call me out in the comment section for saying a lie. They're going to say I'm lying about that, but no, they do have the Raptor R. And that engine is going to have, what, 720 horsepower, 640 pound-feet of torque, something crazy like that. But the problem is, good luck getting one. And most people can't afford that truck anyways. It's like 30 grand over the price of a 37 Raptor, because that truck comes with 37s. But 323 rear end, 410 on the Ford, and they both have a shared design 10-speed transmission. Let's go ahead and check out the interiors. If you thought that the powertrains were totally different, wait till you see the interiors. Now we're gonna go piece by piece in this video because I really want you guys to see what you get. So starting with the doors. So 2 seat memories. You have power folding outside mirrors, and auto up and down for the fronts, and just auto down for the rear windows. Bose sound system, I believe it's a 9-speaker. Love the green stitching, or lime green stitching. This is called the Greystone interior, and you have a splash of black everywhere else. A little bit of black chrome here, which matches that grille too. Let's check out the Ford. The Ford, the entire interior is this black, okay? They give you this red orange stitching here. And here's some of your trim pieces. 3 seat memories, power folding mirrors, just like on the Chevy. Auto up and down for the front windows, but not for the rear at all. You have to hold it. B&O sound system, 14 speaker. And this door is actually larger too. It's a little bit longer. And then here is the kick plate down below. Now let's talk about the seats really quickly. They give you really nice bowstring on the bottom of the seat and on the top of the seat. Tilt headrest, and more of that red stitching. They say Raptor right there. It's kind of embroidered in the seat. But yeah, the bowstring is really nice, 10-way including the lumbar. And they go the extra mile with the Raptor. They give you like this trim piece. Normally it's a bright chrome, but this is like a satin finish, which really does look good in this interior. And they don't really have to do anything down there. They could just leave it chrome because most people won't even notice that. GM also has a 10-way seat. Now, the nice thing about these are they're pretty much the exact same setup. Really nice bowstring on the bottom and on the top. There's no suede on these seats, which I do like better because suede over time just wears out and it looks nasty. But yeah, the kick plate says ZR2 right there. Power steering column. They do give you a grab handle at the top here. And the design on this interior is really nice. They give you like this piano black here. This truck does have the optional heads-up display, as you guys saw. And let's go ahead and check out the Ford. I want you guys to see the paddle shifters there for the Chevy, okay? Ford 2 has a power steering column, but they also give you something extra, power pedals. Now notice how large these paddle shifters are. Huge red stitching, great design on the steering wheel, also grab handles, a little bit of that reddish orange on the dash. And here's some of your controls. Now let me show you guys something I love about the Ford more than the GM truck. They added heads-up display to Ford. Obviously they copied GM because GM's had this for a long time now. But I like that they give you the temperature outside, miles per hour, and sometimes you can set up the time in there too. But the other advantage on this truck is this. I love the fact that they allow you to customize so many things with this truck here. So just scrolling down, this is something else I like. I love the measurements. I hope GM's adding this for 2025. I like that they give you something for the turbocharger, your temperatures, pressure, air charge temperature. I mean, that's just really nice. Now, this is where GM wins. The cameras for the 360 are a little bit more cumbersome in my opinion. So it is easy to use, but if you hit the wrong button, you want to go back in here, see how that menu goes away? Now you have to click it again, and it's just a little bit more cumbersome. GM does allow you to really customize this screen, but I like to see temperatures, especially if you're going off-road. You don't know how hot things get. Now they do allow you to see the transmission temperature, but that's really the only one. They have these analog gauges down below, but I like to see a number because normally you like to see what the operating temperature is typically, but then when you're going off-road, if you're towing, you like to see more of those temperatures. Now where GM wins is you have a larger screen here, 13.4, and both trucks have heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel on both sides. But on this truck, you guys see there, front and rear locker. On the Ford, you only have a rear locker. Downhill assist is right there. And let's go ahead and go through some of the drive modes. So you do have tow haul mode, and they also give you a normal mode, a sport mode, off-road mode, and then terrain mode too. So let's go ahead and check out what you have on the Ford. Not only does Ford have drive modes, they have more drive modes. So the first one is slippery, tow haul, sport, normal, off-road, Baja, and they also have what's called rock crawl. So they give you this button here. This is the one pedal drive. So trail control with one pedal drive. So that's gonna help with like not having for you to have to use the brakes and the gas, because you basically just drive with the gas pedal, right? Both have the trailer brake and dual climate control, heated and ventilated seats, as I said, heated steering wheel. They both have the wireless charger. I think that they have the same amount of USBs. I just think Ford gives you 3 type C's and just 1 type A up front. And something else that Ford has that's a nice advantage, because I do work in my truck sometimes, they give you this workstation here. So this is a nice benefit. But this screen is a huge letdown for me. I really can't use this screen. I know how to use it, but GM's is so much better. I think that the orientation of everything, you can change the menu around if you want to. On theirs, a lot easier. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Starting with the camera, they give you the menu down below here. It's so easy to use. It stays up for you. And I just think that the camera is a lot more clear versus the Ford. They give you these bird's eye views. It's easier to turn off the 360 camera view if you don't want that and have full screen. And it's on a bigger screen, so yes, I like this one better. The split screen is a little bit better, although you do have more information in the split screen versus the Chevy. But you can move things around in this menu so much easier. You can take things out of this menu if you like and put things back in there. So if you want your cameras to be right here, you can set it up that way. But yeah, I think that when it's all said and done, both trucks are nice. By the way, Ford doesn't have this yet. I'm sure they're gonna adopt this really soon. Both have the black headliners. Let's go ahead and check out the back, and then I'll show you guys the payload, and that'll pretty much end the video. Nice design. More of that suede on the seats there. You do have this armrest with cup holders. Out back, you have outboard heated seats. They do provide this 12 volt, 2 USBs, those are type C's, 120 volt right there, seat back pockets, collapsible storage down below, which I do like better in this truck. Let's check out the GM. I didn't point it out, but the floor in the Chevy out back sits noticeably shorter. They both don't have humps in the rear, but you do have additional storage in the seat backs. I love these. I use them on my AT4X. You can drop these down. This also has armrest, cup holders, outboard heated seats, and you have a type A, type C, air vents, seat back pockets. Let's check out the payload. Here are the axle ratings right here. 3,800 pounds in the front, 3,850 in the rear. Gross fuel economy rating is going to be 7,350. Now the wheels are going to be 17 by 8.5 wide, and all in payload capacity, 1,381. Front gross axle rating is 3,950 for the GM. The rear is 3,800 pounds, 7,300 pound gross fuel weight rating, 18 by 8.5 wide wheels, And then they give you this trailering information, which is a huge advantage over Ford, Ram, Toyota, everyone. Love that they do this. It shows you your towing capacity, it shows you the curb weight, it shows you the gross combined weight rating, all in one spot. You don't have to go online looking for this stuff. It's right here. Love this. Now here's a yellow sticker. You guys can see the tire pressure is at 38 psi. I didn't show it to you or point it out to you on the Ford, but you can go back and look at it. But 1449 is the payload, as I said. What do you guys think? Both of these trucks have huge advantages. Now on the Ford you have the Raptor 37, right? If I have a chance, maybe what I'll do is I'll get a Raptor 37 and then I'll get an AEV edition Chevy. So if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Don't know if I'm gonna do it. Sometimes it's really hard for the stars to align to get the trucks that you need, but in this case here, if I had to pick a truck today, I don't know. They both have their advantages, and there's a lot of stuff I like about the Chevy over the Ford and vice versa. Like, I am so happy I'm not looking to buy a half-ton pickup truck, because if these trucks were both here, aside from color, it would be really hard for me to choose. But let me know in the comment section which one you like. What was your favorite option or feature on the trucks? See you soon.